University. تفضل دكتور الله يرضى عليك. بسم الله.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. طبتم وطاب ممشاكم وتبوأتم من الجنة منزلا. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you for coming to His house. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make our place in the akhirah, in the paradise. Ameen. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Just a short khatira I would like to share with you from Surah Al-Baqarah as we getting closer to the month of Ramadan. And one of the main things during the month of Ramadan, or something that is special about it, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has chosen this month to reveal, to send down the Quran. And Allah sent down the Quran for us to connect with the Quran and to reflect about the ayat that He sent down as mercy for mankind. As we notice at the beginning of Surah Al-Baqarah, the second chapter, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we should expect that Allah tells us about the foundations of Islam or the 5 pillars of Islam. But He tells us a few ayat about the Iman and the belief in the unseen, and also talks to us like about stories of people who came before us, the story of Musa alayhi salam, the story of David, Talout Jalout, David and Goliath. This is one of the stories that I would like to share with you. But let's speak about that. The first ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ. This book, there is no doubt about it. And it's guidance for who? هُدًى who? لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make all of us among the muttaqeen. And said, الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ وَيُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةِ. Those are muttaqeen. Some of their qualities, they believe in the unseen and they stand up for the prayer. And if we look at both, like these two things, one of them from Arkan al-Iman and one of them from Arkan al-Islam. And He said, وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. And then the ayat goes on. But I want to jump to the story of Talout and Jalout alayhi salam. So Allah is mentioning that people after Musa alayhi salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used to send prophet after prophet. So He sent them a prophet. There was clearly injustice that was happening and people were forced to leave their homes, as what's happening in Palestine today. And the people told their prophet, ألم تر إلى الملأ من بني إسرائيل من بعد موسى إذ قالوا لنبي له بعث لنا ملكا نقاتل في سبيل الله. They told their prophet, why don't you send us like a king, a leader, so we can fight for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so we can get our homes back, we can establish justice back on earth. And the prophet, he knows them. He told, what happens if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send you a leader and then you don't fulfill your promise? He told him, just send him and we will follow. And then when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told them that, or the prophet told them that Allah is sending Jalut or Malikan, so they told him, أَنَّ يَكُونُ لَهُ الْمُلْكُ عَلَيْنَا وَنَحْنُ أَحَقُّ بِالْمُلْكِ مِنْ. How Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or how this person can be our leader and we should be the leaders for him. Some people, they have that kind of like ego inside themselves. Like, why this person should be mother? Why should I follow their instructions? I'm so much better. I have more knowledge and I have more money. I have more wisdom, so on and so on. Right? But we should humble ourselves when it comes like to the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he said, قالوا ونحن أحق بالملك منه ولم يؤت سعة من المال. He doesn't have a lot of money. We look at people who don't have much money or don't have nice cars or homes, like we look down upon them. And the Prophet, his response said, إن الله اصطفاه عليكم وزاده بسطة في العلم والجسم. The reason why Allah has chosen this person to be a leader, because Allah has chosen him because He has given him wisdom. Inna Allah astafa alaykum, had chosen him, and He gave him like more power in body and also in knowledge. وزاده بسطة في العلم والجسم والله يؤتي ملكه من يشاء. Allah يؤتي ملكه من يشاء. Allah gives his kingdom or His power or His authority to people whomever He wants. Wallahu wasi'un alim. Then, first, if we notice, then some people now started following the Prophet, right? And then the leader, فَلَمَّا فَصَلَ طَالُوتُ بِالْجُنُودِ. And then they were going to pass through different tests. And these tests kind of like Allah is going to or show them, or they going to see like the levels of Iman inside everyone's heart. And this is something that we keep in mind when we're reaching Ramadan. Like, how would we connect to Ramadan, to the Quran? And how would we see like our level of Iman? Which group would we like to be? And listen, let's look clearly at these levels of these groups or the level of iman inside the hearts of these groups. قال إن الله مبتليكم بنهر. When the king recruited the people and they are moving with him and they are going through the first test and he's telling them that you are passing by a river. And he said, if you drink from that river, you're not going to follow me. You cannot continue with me. But if you don't drink from it and just like you can continue with me, unless you can just get a sip of water from your hand and then drink from it, right? And then, like, can you imagine soldiers back in the day? They don't have that water bottle from Walmart or from from Target or anything, and then they are going through like this hardships and struggles and difficulties, and then they are gonna find water, and they don't know how far they are going after that. And then the leader tells them, "This is just like some water that you can get." But after they passed by, the majority did not follow. They were thirsty. They thought that they will get the energy not from the faith, from the water. But only a few of them who followed, and then these are the few that the level of iman inside their heart is little higher, and they believed and they followed. And then فَشَرِبُوا مِنْهُ إِلَّا قَلِيلٌ مِنْهُ. Most of them they drank except a few of them. فلما جاوزه هو والذين آمنوا معه. After they pass the river, they are going to another test. فلما جاوزه هو والذين آمنوا معه قالوا لا طاقة لنا اليوم بجالوت وجنوده. Those who passed the first test and they have a higher level of iman, they said, man, we cannot stand against all this big military. Jalut wa Junudi, all this Goliath and his soldiers, they are the most powerful people or army on earth. We cannot stand for them. Look at us. Just like we have like small, basic, like swords or weapons, or we cannot stand them on all of it. They say Al-Jayshu alladhi la yuqhar, the army that will never be defeated back in the day. That's Goliath and his soldiers. But among this group of people, they had people who had a higher level of iman. And then قال الذين يظنون أنهم ملاقو الله كم من فئة قليلة غلبت فئة كثيرة بإذن الله والله مع الصابرين. Those who believed it, they said, how many times that a small group of people defeated a larger group of people only with the permission from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? كم من فئة والله مع الصابرين. And remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always with those who show patience. That's one of the keys, iman and patience. وَلَمَّا بَرَزُوا لِجَالُوتَ وَجُنُودِهِ. Then they found themselves face to face, right to the Goliath and his soldiers. قالوا ربنا أفرغ علينا صبرا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. Then when they were face to face with Goliath and his soldiers, third key here, they raised their hand and made dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give them more patience. And ثبت أقدامنا, make us stand strong and firm and give us victory among those who caused injustice and those who disbelieved. And then فهزموهم بإذن الله وقتل داود جالوت. He defeated them again with the permission from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then only one soldier here, he was subhanallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given him like the wisdom as well. Jalut, Dawood alayhi salam. وقتل داود جالوت وآتاه الله الملك. Dawood killed, or David killed Goliath, right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala later gave him what? Give him power. And this is what we notice constantly with a lot of stories in the Quran. For Musa alayhi salam, the Pharaoh, he was like raised to high in earth. It was like a lot of distractions. But what happened? And then we find that always Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِنَّ الْأَرْضَ لِلَّهِ يُرِثُهَا مَنْ يَشَاءُ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ. The land belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah will make those servants or his servants would inherit the land. The reason why I'm sharing you this story with you, again, I was talking to a friend yesterday, subhanAllah, and I was saying like some people say like, why these people started doing things on October 7th? And I had a phone call from a friend in Florida a few weeks ago, and he's saying like, why do you cook the elephant? And the answer, when we think about these things, first of all, we should have an understanding from the Quran. What's happening today in Palestine or in Gaza, the massive killing, as a matter of fact, it happens every day on a smaller scale. And it started not October 7, but it started more than even like before 1948. Long time ago, they started taking the land from people like step by step, taking them out of their homes. And I give a silly example everywhere I go. I said, I want you to imagine if you live in a 4 bedroom like house and somebody comes and promise their friend your home and they take 3 bedrooms out of this house and they leave you only 1 bedroom, even they can put you in a corner and they keep beating you, controlling your water, electricity, controlling the AC, controlling everything. And sometimes they kick you in the backyard. How to live in the backyard in a tent and deprive you from even basic necessities of life? How would that make you feel about staying in it? So that's injustice. But first, we have to keep in mind whenever lose hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah will fulfill His promise that He will give the land to whom they believe. And Allah chooses from among them martyrs to be in Jannah. And even in the story about the Pharaoh, He said, ونريد أن نمن على الذين استضعفوا في الأرض ونجعلهم أئمة ونجعلهم الوارثين. After Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the torture that the Pharaoh is doing to the people over there, He said, we want to give like our blessings to those who were weakened on earth, and we will make leaders and we will make them the inheritors. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make the people in Palestine the inheritors of their true land. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala free Al-Aqsa. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the opportunity to pray in the Masjid al-Aqsa. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help those who are waking on earth to be strong and to stand firm. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them food and water. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them tabat in this life and in the hereafter. اللهم انصر إخواننا في فلسطين وفي غزة يا رب العالمين. اللهم انصرهم على عدوك وعدوهم يا رب العالمين. اللهم انصر كتابك وسنة نبيك وعبادك الصالحين. اللهم انصر من نصر الدين واخذل من خذل الدين. ربنا عليك توكلنا وإليك أنبنا وإليك المصير. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ادخلنا الجنة مع الأبرار برحمتك يا عزيز يا غفار. صلى اللهم وسلم وبارك على محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. Just like as a reminder, as we approaching the month of Ramadan, inshallah, we should prepare ourselves. We still have like a couple weeks. It is not like a switch that we turn on as Ramadan comes and everything will be changed in our hearts. But as a tip for myself and everyone, try to connect more with the Quran. At least, like if you read in a page, a juz, find an ayah every day that resonated with you the most, and see how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala impacted you or addressing you with this ayah, and how can you achieve an impact on other people around you from this ayah. بارك الله لي ولكم في القرآن العظيم ونفعني وإياكم بالآيات والذكر الحكيم. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم وجزاكم الله خيرا.